So I'd like to call this meeting of the Park and Rec's RTM Park and Rec Committee of the RTM at 7:34 p.m. on May 6th. Thanks everybody for managing to come on a Thursday, which totally messed everybody up. More than one person. Monday, Wednesday, so it's okay. Good, everybody could come though. Thank you. First, we just took the attendance, and so I'd like to have the approval of the minutes of April 7th. May I have a motion to approve the minutes of April 7th?
So moved.
Can I ask a question on those?
Yes. Why don't you second and then you ask your question?
Okay, second.
Okay. All right. Go ahead.
Ask my question.
Yes, you can.
Down at, I think it's the bottom of the, I'm looking at this on my phone because I didn't want to do 18 pages here. The chairman asked Cheryl Russell to give an update on Pear Tree Beach Building Committee. Cheryl reported that Dan Biggs said that 3,330 should be dredged. 3,330 what?
Cubic feet.
Okay. Okay. That's my question, I think.
How many
Whether that
cubic
should be in
feet?
there. Cubic feet should be dredged.
How many?
3,330 cubic feet. I'd like to see that added. Should be dredged on 2.2 acres to a depth of 2 feet and disposed of on the western side of Long Island. This is in the minutes,
Yep.
Yes.
I see it.
right? We just need to add cubic feet, I think.
Okay. Thank you. Anything else, folks? Okay. Are all those in, is anyone opposed to the approval of the minutes? Abstentions? Sandy?
Yeah, I wasn't at the meeting, so.
I think you can still, I think at this point they're saying you can vote.
All right.
Because you're just you're voting for the veracity of your minute takers minutes.
Okay.
Okay. All right, thanks. I think that's unanimous.
Right.
And as amended. And here's the reason why we're here tonight. Discussion and vote on approval of the contract of the AFSCME. We're going to vote to not reject if we're approving the contract. Everybody got the contract, which was nice, actually. And Kate's synopsis, really, of the process. Just, I'll say 3 sentences, and then anybody can make any comments that you want to make. Somebody's moving a lot of papers, so they need to turn off their mic.
Sorry, it's probably me.
Okay. Okay, hope it's not the last we hear of Diane. So the wage increase is 2.25% in the first 2 years. First of all, the contract had expired on June 30th, 2020. And so, so this is for 2020 through 2020. Yeah, 2023, I think, if I'm saying that right, looking at this right. The general wage increase are as follows. On the 1st of July, 2.225%, and then on the 1st of July 2022, 2.25%, and then 2.50 in the third year of the contract. They agreed to the higher third year as part of the agreement to move a defined contribution pension plan for new hires. So I think it was a quid pro quo there. To do that. There are 6 Park and Rec employees in this group. The other part of the change was we agreed increases in employees' premium cost share. So it's moving to 11%. in the third year of the contract. So the big deal is the retirement plan. And over time, I think they think it will save money. Right now,
I can't hear you.
you can't hear me? Are you sure, Bill?
I can now, but you were silent.
Oh,
Yes,
okay.
now I can hear you fine.
All right. Let me know if I'm starting to break up again. I'll give
Now I
it.
can't. Goes in and out.
That's him. That's him.
Yeah, we all hear you.
Yeah, we can hear you, Adele.
Okay. I'm sorry, Bill. Why don't you maybe you should turn off your video. I don't know. Anyway, never mind. I've given you all my expertise that I have, which is not much. Anyway, so right now everyone's in the is in a pension plan, and then what this will do is that the new employees will be in a defined benefit plan. Oh, excuse me. Right now, they're all in a defined benefit plan, and they will be moving to a defined contribution. I'm getting it backwards, guys. Forgive me. It's better. It's better for the town in the long run. It will cut down on the costs. I mean, yeah, it will help with the pension going forward. I'm just going to read this last paragraph. I'm clearly hopeless with this. We continue to work to manage the town's medical costs by increasing the premium cost share for employees. This contract is a first step in stabilizing future pension costs with the implementation of a defined contribution pension plan for new hires. Okay, so are there anybody have anything you want to say about it? Raise your hand if you do. Any questions?
And Adele, we vote to not reject, correct?
That's what I said. Yes, ma'am. Okay, we have a motion to not reject.
I'll make a
No.
motion.
Patty moved, and was that Bill? Bill seconded. All those in, let's see, no, all opposed? Any abstentions? Sandy Savage is an abstention.
Yep.
And then, rightly so. And so it is, how many of us are there, Sue Ellen?
Oh, but that leaves 14. Oh, actually, Kara's not here. So it's
Right.
13.
So
Yeah.
that's 13 in favor and 1 abstention. Thank you. Everyone else, all the other, the Board of every Board of Selectmen, Board of Finance, and F&B last night too. Everyone supported the contract really there weren't any questions. It sounds like it's a really good contract. And having read it, it really is good. Okay, well, we'll move on then, guys. Hope you're gonna have something to say sometime, right?
I was actually 12 in favor, sorry.
Okay, 12 in favor and 1 opposed. All right, I want to write that down. Thanks. Excuse me, not opposed, abstention.
Thank you.
Okay, chairman's report. I'm just going to quickly run through some of the things that the commission touched on at their last meeting, and then we can talk about some stuff if you want to. The commission, let's see, they had an Eagle Scout project where the young man's going to be working on the walking trails at Baker, and they gave Freight permission to keep tying up his small boat by the boat ramp until November. Junior Sailing gave an update, which sounded very promising. Sounds like it really sounded good, frankly. It seemed like they're in a good spot. They voted to display the Pride flag in June at Pear Tree Point. And there was a discussion of pear tree and weed projects. And I'm not quite, I finished listening to that discussion. We can talk there, I guess, if anybody wants to discuss it, what was said. It was mentioned as a discussion of maybe putting focus on weed, with that walking trail project, or and not have so much emphasis on pear. But the discussion was kind of, I really can't give you a real assessment. I think quite a few of you were there. If anybody would like to weigh in, that's fine with me. I know it's in the interim, I've gotten the estimates for doing work down at Pear Tree that I sent along to you guys that were mentioned at that meeting. And I know Cheryl and I were down there, Wednesday, Cheryl?
Mhm.
I went down to see Cheryl's tree, and I noticed that I was about ready to leave. I noticed that there were painters in there, and so they were painting the bathrooms, and they had put epoxy on the rust on the door frames in the concession building. And if they've done any more than that, I don't know, but that's what we saw when we were there. Cheryl?
TransClean was down there today. I didn't go in because they had power washers and stuff, so I'm assuming they maybe scrubbed the floors and the partitions. I don't know. I'll go back tomorrow and see if it's open and what they did.
Right. I mean, when I went, it was down there. It was locked up. So yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Anybody?
The
You want to finish, or Sheila has something to say? Sheila?
I just wanted to add, while we're talking about pear tree, I was thrilled to see 3 sycamores planted where they were years ago. And I know it didn't happen when other trees were planted around town because they didn't know what the pear tree project would be. But for those of us who love pear tree, that was the shade at the edge of the beach. And now they're back. So that's great. And I really appreciate that we're cleaning up the bathrooms, everything that's happening there. I think that's all most people wanted, and it seems it's going to happen.
Well, at least the painting seems to be happening. You were
And
gonna say, yeah, but the trees are nice. They're good sized trees. So fingers crossed. Yeah. Cheryl, did you want to say something else?
Yeah, and a couple of weeks ago, I understand someone sent me a picture of them digging up the sand from the bathhouse to the pole out in the street, and that was for a Wi-Fi line to go in. So I want to just make sure everybody understood what that was for. And it's so that they can use charge cards and things like that, make it easier for the concession stand.
Oh, okay.
That's great.
Yeah, it is. Makes good sense. Anybody else want to talk about anything or anything about the discussion that was had? I don't know. I assume that the commission will come back to this. They will be talking about it. Chris, I see you turned your green light on.
Thanks, Adele. You'd mentioned the commission said that we'll have the pride flag up at Pear Tree. Is there a reason why we don't have it up on any other flags, or was that just one that was discussed?
That's the only flag that they have. As this was raised, this point was raised, they realized that that's the only flag that they actually have any control over. There used to be a flag down at Weed, and that flagpole got blown down, so they're going to have to put that in a future budget or actually what they're doing now, or should be doing, they said they were going to do, is to go and see if they could go back to the person that donated it to begin with, see if they can get them to donate again. But so the reason is that's the only flag that because the other ones in the parks are under the control of the Little League.
Got it.
They raise and lower the flags. And so, and at Pear Tree, the flag is raised and lowered by the
Lifeguard.
Thank you, the lifeguard. Thank you, Cheryl. By the lifeguard. So when they're there, the flags will go up and come down.
Got it. Thank you.
You're welcome. Anybody else? Okay.
Adele,
Yeah,
you just want anybody else on Pear Tree Point or Weed Beach, or anybody else on anything?
anything I just talked about in the chairman's report's fine.
I have something.
Diane?
I just wanted to know if you've heard anything about a vendor for McGuan yet.
Good question. Good question. That was something I meant to check on today and I forgot to do it. So I apologize. I have not heard anything about that.
I know I had seen a couple of weeks ago, some cars down there from Town Hall and people looking, but I haven't seen anything happening down there. And I just kind of wondered, because they had also talked about having trucks down there, food trucks down there, if nothing else, but doesn't seem like there's anything there.
Okay.
I hope something comes.
I do too. I do too. That would be a
The
shame.
trees look great at McGuan. The trees, Diane, look great down at McGuan.
Yes,
that have
they
been
do.
there as well. Yep.
There are 6 of them. They're beautiful. When they get really big, they're going to provide a lot of shade there on that playground, which really needs it. It's, I think, very hot there in the summer.
Okay. So Patty, was there anything else you wanted to?
Well, I was just gonna just give a quick update on a project the last 2 Saturdays at Cherry Lawn that we did. I was able to get wood chips donated, and so from 9 to 12.
Hey, Patty, hang on and put it under other business since I
Oh,
didn't.
that's why I asked you.
Didn't go there? Yeah. I'm sorry. Well, I didn't know what you were going to talk about. I thought, that's okay.
No, that's it.
I thought you were going to talk about pickleball, which I'm going to guess I get to.
Oh, no, I knew you were getting to that.
Yeah. Okay. Let me see what else there is. Okay. Okay. Like I said, I think we're going to be hearing more about Pear Tree and what happens there. I assume at the commission meeting. All right. Pickleball. I drove through Cherry Lawn and I saw Patty Bumgardner walking her dog. Yesterday, day before yesterday, I think. Yeah, and I saw the pickleball court switch. They look lovely. I understand that there's that part of the fencing is on back order, so they're not going to be finished straight away. Is that right, Patty?
They've done a workaround, is what Sean Shea told me. In that the vendor it looks like he's going to be taking so just to back up, what they did with the existing fencing was they took the wiring all down. They left the posts that were there. They fixed the posts and they painted them black. And it's new wiring, for lack of a better word, that will go up. Because of COVID, there's so many delays. If you're trying to build a house or anything, lumber's hard to get. But with the fencing, there was a delay. But the vendor looks like he's switching out the fencing from another project to give to us because he knows he has a deadline as well. But I mean, the deadline in the RFP was June 2nd, and we're on warp speed. They've already, they did as you know, Adele, you saw they did the.
Looks good.
Yeah, they painted two courts. They put in the bases in it. It looks tremendous. So it's exciting. People are coming by looking at it all the time.
Yeah, it's on its way. There's always a hiccup in there.
Yeah, but I mean, we're only at May 6th, so I think they're going to be ahead of the game.
Excellent. Okay, we can move on to other business. Did you want to start with that report then, Patty, on the on Cherry Lawn and the activities there?
Yeah, just a quick update. So 2 Saturdays in a row. The second one was the Saturday of Earth Day. The first one was the Saturday prior to that. We get earth chips or wood chips donated. A house down the street from me had taken down a lot of trees. They'd fallen in the storm, and I talked to the builder and I said, can I take some of these off your hands? I didn't know if he was going to make us pay for it or not. And they told us, they said, no, they have to pay to get rid of them. And so I checked in with Town Hall and Jim Flynn, and he said yes. And what we did was we had the wood chips dropped off. The first time we had them dropped off at the end of Woods End Drive, off of Sylvan, because the project was starting, the wood chips were starting from kind of back close to that area behind the right-hand side of Cherry Lawns, Gardens, and the basketball court. So the first half that we did, we dropped the chips there. Tons of people came. It was a lot of, people that spent a lot of time at Cherry Lawn, the dog people, pickleball people, and then the neighbors. And it was so fun to watch people of all ages helping out, including kids, older folks, etc. And then the second time, last Saturday, I think it was, I got permission to bring a truck in all the way down beyond the tennis courts to the left. We were careful not to go close to the pond because it gets so wet, as y'all know. But they took a hard left and they dumped the chips there. And we were able to do, I couldn't believe how much got done in 3 hours. From like what would be right behind the new circle thing on the Cherry Lawn playground on the unenclosed one. So back beyond there, went from there all the way to the to the stone bridge. And if you recall, Adele and everybody else, if you walked the tour with us back in October, we had walked along by the stone bridge and we talked about, wow, this is so pretty. These are so overgrown, nobody's seen them. And so now you can walk from that point at the stone bridge all the way out to the back and walk behind Cherry Lawn, or walk behind the Cherry Lawn Gardens. So, it was fun. It was a beautiful day. I think people went to sleep immediately afterwards because of all the, hard work of shoveling, but it was really a really special thing. And it was easy to do. So it was a community effort, which is what I think Lori was getting at from a care and maintenance standpoint. Let's get our neighborhoods involved. That's it. Thank you.
Yeah, it was cool. It was nice. I saw it on Facebook. Yeah. Okay. The other thing that there've been, well, I don't know if you guys want to talk about it or not. There seem to be have been a bunch of emails going around about Highland Farm, and the neighbors are worried about not having, which is not our purview, but we do keep an eye on what's going on there since it's in the Park and Rec budget for the care and maintenance of it. And I know some of the neighbors they were hoping to have their screening, the bushes and the trees and everything put in by now. So you guys saw the let me see, the transfer that Kate Bush requested from the Board of Finance. And so you saw the numbers. They had a cost overrun for $46,059, and so they were.
Oh. Bill, are you
Yes.
with us?
Bill Van Loan.
I have Bill Van Loan here. I think you want to be on with us, right?
Well, I can't seem to get back into the webinar thing. So, is there anything important going on here?
Yeah,
Well,
I think they can hear you, right?
We can.
Can
Yeah,
you
we
hear
can
Bill?
hear you. Yeah, we're talking right now, Bill. Now, but you can listen, Bill, and say something when you want to. We're talking about a bit about Highland Farm and about the cost overrun for when they did the walking path and the parking lots. And so that Kate Bush went to and asked for funds to take care of that, and it was $46,059. And they ran into a couple of things that they didn't expect to happen. They ended up having to put asphalt down for the walking path after they thought they were going to use a different surface. It just didn't work for wheelchairs. And then also there was more dirt to be taken away when they did the the parking lots than they had expected. And so, so that accounts for $23,459 of the overrun. And in addition, they want Weston and Sampson to continue working with them to help with the neighbors and the landscape plans, but also to assist with the bid specifications and with the town for implementation of the landscape plan. So those added together, that's why they needed the transfer, the cost overrun. The steep grant that we passed last fall, we accepted. We said we would accept it. Let's say that we applied for and we got, but they haven't gotten the contract for it yet. The steep grant will pay for the plantings, and I think they expect to plant next fall. They're hoping to push back. They have a deadline on the steep grant, but they're hoping to get a little extension so they can reach the planting season next fall. So that's sort of where all that is with the Highland Farms. If anybody else wants to chime in, I'm just reading emails that were flying around.
I have gotten some of those emails because I think they went to those of us in District 1 where Highland Farms is. And I have walked over there a number of times now, and I see their concerns. Obviously, the gravel in the parking lot is like looking at the cars when you're used to having seen a beautiful green scene before you. I really would like to see that porta potty, something there to shade it from view, because it really is pretty ugly. And the garbage pails when you're walking around as well, that are by the parking areas. But, there are droppings there too. And we need to, of course, remind people to pick up after their dogs again.
I know your granddaughter's played soccer there, has she?
My granddaughter has, and I didn't make that game, to tell you the truth about it. But I'm anxious to see it. What's so amazing is when you're on the one side, the Middlesex end, before you make the right and the curve there to go up to Mansfield, you can't even see the kids playing soccer on that other end. It's just amazing when you go around and all of a sudden you see these kids playing soccer, and it's a beautiful piece of property. And it's I think once we get some of these plantings in, and I hope sooner than later, that the people there will be much happier.
Yeah, I'm sure they will. I can't blame them for being in a hurry to have the plantings in.
I concur with Diane on the buffering, and the cars and the porta potty. In fact, I feel like I'm on, for lack of better phrase, poop patrol. I spent the other day, Saturday, from 9 to 12. So I guess I did the wood chips 2 Saturdays ago. One prior to that. This last Saturday, I went from 8:45 to 12:15 because the tiny tots were from 9 to 12 for their soccers, which was adorable, by the way. So cute. Loved watching all the little kids and the parents. But I counted the number of people who used the porta potty, and there were over that 3-hour period, there were about 180 people that were there, and only 6 people used it. It was 5 adults and 1 child who was a boy, who was potty training. I asked multiple parents about their need, and I asked in a very non-leading question way. And it was interesting. The one woman whose son used it had said she was potty training. Multiple women said they'd never use it and they'd never have their kids use it. One, Sarah, this reminded me of you. One said that she carries a porta potty in the back of her car because she doesn't want her child to use, or she carries her own little mini porta potty like you did, because she doesn't want her kids to use that. But the follow-up question I asked everybody was, if we were to move it, if it needs to stay, but we were to move it, would you be okay if it moved to the other side of the field? And then I would then walk that out. So it was 46 steps from this side of the field to where the porta potty was. And it was 74 steps to the other side of the field. Every single parent that I asked that all said, no problem, no problem. So most weren't using it and didn't feel the need, but I know that Pam Geary felt strongly about having it there until June 12th, when the programming ends. And so the neighbors, a lot of neighbors wrote letters, because I got copied on some of that. And Lori and Pam, Lori sent an email today confirming that she met with Pam and Jamie Stevenson and herself, and that they asked Pam to make it a priority to please move that. And so hopefully it goes to the other side, shaded between the existing trees against the fence. That's the easiest solution. And then we also talked about getting some faux ivy and things like that. There's a lot of creative solutions there for if we have to do, if this becomes like a long-term porta potty for spring and the fall for 6 weeks during those sessions. So it was kind of, you know, I wish it had happened on behalf of all of our neighbors, right, Diane, and been done properly. But I'm hoping that that thing gets moved by tomorrow.
Golly, you know what, Patty?
That would be great.
Can I talk? I don't agree at all. I think it's right where it should be, but I do think that it would be a great. No, neither do you. I do.
No, but I'm in District 1 and I represent all the people who send letters.
Hey, Patty, can I talk, please?
Sure.
Thank you. I think it's having it closer to where the kids are playing is what makes sense to me. I do think
None of the kids were using
that they're, Patty, I do think that it should have, if it's going to be there, if that's where it's going to be, and they know it's going to be, which is what Kate Bush said in her when she was discussing this with the Board of Selectmen. If it's going to be there and it's going to be in the same place, then we should plant screening. That should be part of what the plants that are put in. That should be part of the plan. I don't have any problem with that, but to me it makes perfect sense that it should be closer to where the children are playing and not all the way on the other side where they really aren't going to be there at all. Actually,
if it's going
except
to
for
be
walking
there,
around.
it should have been screened in the first place per P&Z. So I think we're all talking about the same, like, just figure out a solution that works.
Just screen it, please. That's all. But come out of somebody else's budget. Thank you very much.
So the one other thing to that point is that I just want to make the point that when we all voted on the project for Highland Farms and P&Z put in their perimeters that the work needed to be done by July 24th, 2021, which is coming up, that included the landscaping. And so that is the timeline. We'll see if P&Z pushes it back or not. I don't know if they will. That's not, our purview. But I wish that it had all been done prior. But I think it's important to note that when we voted on this, the landscaping was part of that plan. If there was $15,000 in that optimum, let's see what it was called. It was called that opinion of probable construction cost for Highland Farms. And there was $15,000 put in for the one parking lot in the north, the southwest parking, and then there was $15,000 for the other one on the north side. And so the steep grant is wonderful that we got that, but I don't think any of us, or I personally don't, the neighbors don't understand. A lot of people in District 1 reps don't understand why we're being told we have to wait for the steep grant. We voted on this. This was expected to be done by this date, and it included the landscape. And now we hope we get more money to do more things but they're required to buffer where the parking spots are for that two area. So just remember that that was in that probable cost from Redness and Mead that we all received back in of 2019.
Yes, it was. They clearly blew through their budget without the landscaping being done. So now we're going to be using the STEP grant to do the landscaping. Oh,
Well, or they can go to the Board of Finance and ask for a special appropriation. So we'll see.
But the steep grant we already have been granted that money. We're just waiting for it to come. Am I right, Adele?
yes, yes.
They had signed a contract, but but that was not a requirement to have the steep grant to get that done. So
No, it certainly wasn't. That is absolutely true. It was not a requirement. That was it's afterwards, that was a separate thing. Let's see. Where else are we? Anybody else want to make any comments? Okay, then that's it for that to probably be continued. The only other thing that I have to mention, and I think you guys may have other business, is that $250,000 special appropriation for Park and Rec that was on the selectmen's that they voted on last Monday night. And we're not going to vote on that tonight. I just, I sent you the information on it. And if anybody has any questions about it, it's pretty, it's self-explanatory as to what it's about. It's because of the Park and Rec because of the way they're doing the accounting, and they're asked to estimate, what their programming, what their revenue and their expenses for that revenue are going to be. And they've done a lot better than expected. So, which is great. But therefore the revenue is in, or it's coming in, and they can't meet the expenses. They have to pay the folks that are running it and so forth. So that's what that's about. It's not like Park and Rec's being given an extra $250,000. It's just moving funds, and it's an accounting thing. And they used to all be in one contra fund where they could, for the money that came in and the money that went out was all in one fund. But the town wanted it to be clearer exactly how much money, they wanted it separated so they can really see the revenue that they were getting and what the expenses really were. So it's easier to keep track of it, but at this point it was hard to guesstimate how much we were going to make, and the amount of programming has gone up over 200%. So this spring, and anticipating spring summer. So that's a good thing. So that's all that's about. Anybody have anything else to say?
Adele, I just have one question on that. So when Pam talked about it, and it was the 250,000, she had said for spring and summer programming. Mm-hmm. But then when someone on the selectmen asked her a question, she confirmed that the 250 was just through the end of the fiscal June, through the end of this June. Yeah,
that's why these funds are for this year. That's why she's going back now. And that's why it will come to the RTM, because it is a special appropriation. But so that is anticipating it for now. Yes, no, that does not include for next fiscal year. It's this fiscal year.
So her increased numbers, the revenue numbers she was showing, I'm just, because she was saying spring and fall.
No, I don't think she said fall. But I think it was spring summer. Yeah, spring summer.
I'm sorry.
But it's signing up now for what's going to happen before, for July,
But that would be planning for advance for the next fiscal. So that's all. I'm sure Jack's going to have an analysis for it.
Yeah,
in the next.
I don't have an answer for the specific dates, but it would be for this fiscal year. It's really, otherwise, yeah, no, we couldn't go into for the next year. It's got to be the July 1. So excuse me for saying that, but yeah, July 1. Okay, that's all my other business. Anyone else have any other business? No? Oh, Cheryl, there were for the Pear Tree Building Committee. There was a little update, yeah? For the samplings that they did it?
Oh, yeah, I did read it the other day. Dan has, the sampling has been done. They got everything done in the one day. They were very pleased with the amount of samplings they did do because they took, I guess, more than what they had anticipated. So that's moved on to the Army Corps of Engineers, and now we're waiting for them to get back to us on how fast now we can move forward on anything. But as far as the meetings go, I haven't heard a word of whether or not we're going to be convening either by Zoom or what's going on.
No, it's something about the chemical, and now that they took the samplings, now doing the chemical analysis.
Oh, yeah, that's right. They're doing the chemical analysis.
Yeah. What it sounded like is that it's just sort of ticking along, but at least finally now that the state and the Army Corps, the things are moving again, whereas they kind of just sat during COVID. They weren't. So with snail's pace if they were moving. So it sounds like it may move along now.
Moving along a little bit faster.
Yeah.
That's it.
Okay. Well, if there's nothing else, I'll take a motion to adjourn, guys.
So moved.
Second,
Who was second? I didn't hear who's.
me,
Oh, Diane.
second, Diane.
Diane, second. Yeah, thanks. Cheryl, Diane. Okay, folks.
Thank you.
Everybody, all in favor?
Good night, all.
Yeah, say goodbye.
Night.
Have a
Good
good
night,
night.
everybody.
Thanks, Adele.
Night, Bill.
Thank you, Adele.